Hello everybody, thank you for joining me on my channel, Eric Perkins Artist. I am Eric Perkins, and in today's video we're going to talk about my left hand, well, both my hands actually. Having an issue with my left hand now for about a couple of months. It was about 2 months ago. I was doing some illustrations for my current project, and that night I was woke up in the middle of the night with some pretty extreme pain in my ring finger and my middle finger, just in the tips of them. It kind of felt like the bones had been shattered, which they were not. So ever since, I've been having issues with being unable to make a fist. Like when I first get up in the morning, I can do it right now, but when this first started out, the only way I could make a fist first thing in the morning was to literally work my way down with all the pain until I could get it, and then I would be okay for the rest of the day. I have been pretty much unable to draw since the pain started, and so I could do big things. Like I could go out and do yard work, I can drive, I can carry things, I can grab things. It's only fine motor control that's been affected, really. So it's and with my left hand, it's mainly it feels like the skin is burned and very sensitive. Right here on my ring finger, like the fingertip, and along the that same side, same area of my middle finger. And I did notice, of course, once this started, that when I'm writing with my left hand, I hold my pencil a little bit weird. Instead of resting like on my middle finger, it actually rests right there on that knuckle of my ring finger, which is, from what I've seen, kind of odd. So anyway, uh, I've taken what measures I could to create to remedy the situation. I've been trying compression gloves. That's what these are, copper compression gloves. Supposedly, these are copper infused nylon. The compression gloves you'll see me wearing in the drawing video, nude colored cloth compression gloves, kind of like what you would probably get at your local drugstore. And I honestly think those probably work better than these ones. But these ones have like little rubber grips in them and everything, which I've been slowly ripping off by wearing them to work. Um, but yeah, so I've been doing the copper compression gloves, wrist braces. I've been trying to ice my wrists, creams and ointments and painkillers, and all manner of things. But since none of that's really gotten me back to where I'm capable of drawing with my left hand, I started learning to use my right hand. And I will say, I have a little bit of experience with using my right hand for drawing and writing because, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, I broke my left wrist a couple of times. Once when I was skating as a kid, and another time when I thought I was getting into karate, and I ended up landing from a jump kick on a cinder block on my left wrist, and fractured the wrist again. So a couple of times I actually had to learn how to scribble my way through class with my right hand for probably, I don't know, a month or so, while I had the cast on each time. So the thing is, I found quickly that I have very little motor control with my right hand. Like I'll take the pencil, I'll go to draw something, and I fight a little bit to get that pencil to go anywhere near where I want to be. And getting down to like a detailed line, it's even worse. So everything I do with my right hand has to be very focused. I have to put a lot of effort into it. Where fast, it's a very conscious effort to write and draw with my right hand. I want to talk about for each session. So in session one, I was just kind of trying to doodle in some very basic shapes and do some hatching coming out of those shapes, and it looks like crap. But I was working on, like I said, just generally getting some shape work done, trying to create lines. I did do some primitive shapes and some letters, and that first session did not look very hopeful at all. And at the end of the session, which was about 20 minutes, um, I, and even during the session, I found, first of all, I keep trying or wanting to reach over and take the pencil out of my hand, out of my right hand, because it feels wrong. And, my mind is saying, why are you doing that? That's not the way you do that. And so that's kind of an issue I had. The other issue being, because I don't really use my right arm for, drawing and writing, those muscles aren't developed. And so by the end of the session, I was feeling like some strain here in my forearm and up in my shoulder. It actually kind of felt like I had done a workout. Then the second session went pretty well, actually. I tried to do some sketching, and that's where I really found I could do some pretty general things and scribble around a bit. Uh, but I couldn't really get in for the fine details. It was, I had trouble getting the pencil to go where I wanted and move how I wanted it to. After that, I ended up taking a couple of days off of practicing, and so I believe it was Wednesday, I think, was my third session. Okay. In my third session, I started out, I actually labeled the page with my right hand to begin with, so that's writing with my right hand. Then I did the alphabet, or most of it, in capital letters. I ran out of room. And then I did the alphabet in lowercase letters. And then I proceeded to do another figure drawing of a female. Um, this time, like a little bit more of an active pose, and it's not that great, but it came out much better than the first one. I had a little bit more control, was able to do a little bit more with it. So it was fairly impressive. And I think at this point my shoulder was aching again too. Um, Thursday, so session 4, I decided I needed to try doing words instead of just letters. Trying to, you know, associate using my hand with actually writing words and everything. So I used the typing phrase thing that's around. I believe it uses every letter of the alphabet, but it's the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And so I wrote that out in. I wrote it out starting each word with a capital letter. Then I wrote the whole thing again with just lowercase letters. And then I used a reference, just a photo I found on the internet, to try to do a female portrait. It didn't come out well. Now, the whole thing, this whole session was only 21 minutes, but I spent a lot of time working on like trying to figure out where the hair goes, and it was, of course, like a glamour shot with lots of hair, so I wasted way too much time playing around with that instead of focusing on the face. Um, so I kept that in mind for my next session, but my next session ended up being the longest one. So this was Friday. Started out, labeled the sheet with my right hand. I actually did the lines with the ruler with my right hand, which is another thing where my natural disposition was to use my left hand, and so I made sure to do that with the right hand. I had actually, on Friday, I was filling out my paperwork at work with my right hand, and I found that I was having trouble with like eights, curves in general. Um, Although sometimes it was lines too. So, like, there were times I'd go to do an eight, and like the my top loop would be really flattened or almost a line, and then my bottom one would be okay, or my top one would be a big loop and the bottom was a little one. the kind of stuff you have trouble with when you first start writing. Um, so in this session, I decided after doing my text, so I did, the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, um, and actually in this one, before I get ahead of myself, I did this 3 times. I did it once with my right hand, then I did it again with my left hand just to demonstrate how much faster I write with my left hand. So, I'm not fucking anybody around, not screwing off, or pretending. I'm actually trying to learn to use my right hand, and I am left-handed. Um, okay, then I did it again with my right hand. Um, so as I was saying, I was having trouble with curves. There were a lot of times where I'd go to draw a curve and it would come out as more of a angled line, like angled instead of curved or curved like that. Um, so first I started by doing a whole lot of little loops and curly cues and circles and I think some 9s and some 6s, and then realizing that I was also having issue with lines. I tried working on lines too, like hatching, and I realized when I was doing this section, I was trying to go way too fast, trying to do it like I would do it with my left hand. It wasn't until the very end that I actually slowed down my movements to be more deliberate, and got a much better result. So that will be something I practice going forward. And then, okay, so that whole section, the setting up the page, doing the words, doing the curves and the lines, that was 19 minutes. Then I just went ahead and I took a very short break, and I came back and did 31 minutes on another female portrait, simpler hair this time. It came out pretty decent. It's not my greatest portraiture, but I did at least manage to get some control, get some accuracy. There's at least a little bit of a resemblance. As you look at the video, you will see the reference and you'll be able to determine for yourself how well I did. The whole goal with showing you that I'm learning how to use my right hand is to show you that it is possible to learn to draw or write with your opposite hand, or at least I think it is. I mean, this is week 1, and I'm doing it. It's not comfortable. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural at all. But it seems to be possible. And it seems like I should be able to get good enough with it that I could even potentially become right-handed instead of left-handed. Obviously, we could also say, training to be ambidextrous, but I'm not trying to learn to use them both at the same time. That's a little bit much. Maybe later, though. Good idea for another video at some point. So the idea being, if you're having an issue similar to mine, you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. But anyway, I hope you're not having a problem like this. But if you are, this is one solution you could utilize yourself. And if that is the case, I hope that my videos are able to help you out a little bit by showing you what I'm doing. It'll either give you stuff to do or show you what not to do, depending on how this turns out. In the meantime, with the amount of effort that I can put into drawing with my left hand, I am working digitally, and I am working on my current project, which will be a fantasy-themed coloring book featuring all kinds of medieval fantasy characters, scenery, some action scenes, and stuff like that. I'm trying not to make it too scary, but at the same time, like I've got goblins and orcs and tieflings and all that kind of stuff. If you're scared by the monster type races, then it will be a little bit scary. So in my Etsy store, you can also buy original art. You can get custom art, like say fantasy characters, tabletop RPG characters. I have a customizable product there where you can specify what you need, send me the information such as descriptions, images, whatever. And I also have my 2020 art book on sale, which covers all of the art that I did in 2020, has some stuff written up about each piece by me, includes all of my Inktober stuff from last year. Um, and of course, all sales on my Etsy store help to keep me making more content, making better content, creating more art, you know, the whole general thing. So yeah, if you want to support my channel, help me out, pick up a copy of my art book on Etsy, or even join me on Patreon. You can find the links for my social media, my shop, my Patreon, all that stuff in the video description. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. The button's down below, and drop me a comment. If you have any tips that maybe you've been through this before, if you have anything to share. Thank you to all of my current subscribers and to my patrons. I had actually paused the billing on my Patreon for October. It will be going back on for November because I am creating stuff still, and I plan on continuing to create. So unless this becomes absolutely crippling, I'm going to continue working on stuff, and I will be around. I think that's all I've got. I will be back again, probably next Saturday, with another video, a compilation of sessions where we'll see how well I improve or if I improve at all throughout the week. So, anyway, take care. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.